but lopsided. Ifrits are the fire ones, sylphs are the... Oh, Ifrit. Alright, so we've gotten Ifrit. Okay, I'm gonna... Yeah, I know who the Ifrit's gonna be. So, they were called... What were the fire Ganassi called? Were they just Ganassi?
I think they were just Ganassi. I might be mistaken, mind you. There's been a few Eds since I was really into traditional D&D.
I created a character. What was his name? Let's make this dude like a fire oracle.
Cool.
Yeah, like a burn baby burn. Yeah, exactly. Let's go full on fire mage kind of thing with this dude. So, this is what happens when you've played like D&D for 30 years. It's like, oh, I had this cool NPC once that I'll reuse, and his name was
Cinderella. No.
His name came from a dungeon magazine. That doesn't narrow it down. He was like a bald-headed fire priest. I recreated this character for another campaign. Which was what? All right. Anyways, we need a good picture for an Ifrit, or fire Ganassi, or fire priest.
Let's see what I got in the.
The priest from last week's Legends game. Yeah, it's very close to that.
Male or female? Marty?
There we go. I've got him.
Oh, you got one. All right.
I created him for the brief Galarian game we played. Do you remember that?
Okay, yes.
He was in a Ifrit Oracle, and then I'll make something as his, and his name is Chanticleer. That was the name I was searching for. There we go.
Oh, yes, him. I remember him.
Okay, they are sitting in this foyer. The foyer is covered in what looks like, skins of people's tattoos, kind of stretched in frames like art.
Beautiful.
And there are big
And the artist too.
there are big heavy tomes that have whose spines have been broken. They don't close quite properly. Of like drawings of different tattoo prints, and then there are loose leaf things that are jammed into it, and there are some, like, you actually kind of like the decor. Given the look at you. Brog is quite big. He's kind of thunder-bellied under his hide armor. He does have a club that he's sort of dragging around. He does have what looks like our slave bracers that have aged somewhat around his wrists and his feet. Like he's never bothered taking them off.
Okay.
They're obviously spend some time in water as they're rusted. And then this guy, you look at him, and when you look in his eyes, it is like you're looking inside of an inferno. Like he has a light inside, like a fire inside of his head, and his hair is kind of like floating away like crackling flame.
All right.
He's very tan.
Okay.
He's in a loose robe. He doesn't seem to want to be touching anything.
Oh,
In fact, he keeps on shifting over as Brog looks like brought like this massive bag of random kind of moldering fruit and vegetables, and it just is just eating noisily. In fact, he half the time just opens the bag and his tongue goes like snapping into the bag and pulling out some rotten potato, and which goes right into his mouth, and he's just chomping loudly.
I don't suppose you gentlemen are here for tattoos.
Brog.
He's just like eyeing him, like.
Oh, he's looking at you.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not subtle about like he's eyeing him up.
You thought for a moment that he was puffing his chest in a way like he was challenging you, but and there was like, you know, like bullfrogs kind of like expand. Yeah, it expanded a little bit, but you just realized it was just a building up burp, and it kind of burp. I swear, if this thing touches me one more time, I'm going to burn it.
Yes, well, you're definitely not here for a tattoo then.
I've got a few.
Have you now?
He smiles a little bit. You don't see any tattoos on his clean skin.
Yeah.
She's a brilliant artist, isn't she?
She's the best I've ever seen.
Yep. Brabru. Brabru. Brog. Brabru.
Do you understand what he's saying?
I think he is saying Brog tattoo, although I can be. Although I don't speak Brog. Brog.
All right then.
Get this unworthy scum out of my sight. And you could see that there's this bald-headed monk type. It does look like he's kind of skinny and malnourished, and he goes scrambling out of a back office. Peeking out of the back is a tiny, creepy-looking halfling. Let me find his token.
Okay. He just carries a door around with him so he can hide.
Yeah, he's peeking around the corner.
There are 3 others, mistress. 3 others. That might be suitable, although that one doesn't have much room left. We'll have to examine him. Oh my, there's some sort of toad out there.
He skitters back. Woman comes out in sort of like a half huff, half flourish. She's covered in strange tattoos. She's got jangling bones off of her. She's got a spell component pouch. Her hands are covered in ink, almost like permanently stained. Mm-hmm. She's elvish, which is rare.
Yeah.
She does not look like the elves that you've seen when you do see an elf in the Vaddapol Civic Arena. The elves that you do see come from the Imperial City to train one of their own whenever they have a young elvish warrior. they're very protective of their own. And, like, an elf is something you've never killed because of that.
Someday, though, someday.
The elves of the Imperium will buy an entire lot of 1,000 slaves to save the one elf inside them.
Okay. He probably... It's probably... Yeah, that's probably be almost a fetish for him, is killing an elf. They live so long, it's like they run from death.
Are you three it? Are these all the brave gladiators that Vaddapol can cough up?
Brog. Gladiator.
Apparently, Brog, most words start with B.
Yep.
Gladiator.
I am Chanticleer of the Fire God.
Neidzer just bows to her. Lady Vesta.
There's a glimmer of recognition, like perhaps she doesn't recognize you, but recognize her work.
I suspect we've actually spent hours and hours together. I don't know why.
Yeah, but she's got lots of clients. She doesn't she doesn't look happy to see you or neither displeased. Like she just acknowledges your bow with a blink. I would not expect one of them. Actually, we need to find a good voice for her. Her voice is a bit grating.
I would not expect one of your ilk to be here, monk. Why is it that you're here?
Death hungers, and I have not fed it in a while.
You don't know whether she's just displeased with the answer or pleased with it, but she seems to go over and start looking at Brog and then at Chanticleer. She checks out where they have tattoos, where they don't. She seems to be assessing them for some reason. You can't see Chanticleer's tattoos. Brog has got a couple. Like he's got more of a brand on one of his arms.
Yeah.
And then he may have things that he's hiding with the slave shackles. Not purposely hiding. Brog seems like a simple creature.
Okay.
She does kind of reach in, like when she's looking at the rest of them, she reaches into Brog's mouth, like kind of taps his mouth and he opens it and she pulls out his tongue and is looking at his tongue.
Brog.
Yes, these may do. Does your fiery hair and being stop your skin from being marked? No, but I prefer not the face. That's what he says. Yes. These three will do. Qued, tell your master that I have found 3.
Of course. Of course. He will wish to know, and he shall know.
The little creepy halfling disappears around a corner, kind of scuttles away. Within an hour, you find yourselves on stone slabs in separate rooms. She's asked you to undress, and she's now examining your the placements of your tattoos.
Okay, yeah, he has no problem with this.
You have room, she says as her hands placed down basically on your chest. Plenty of room. You think she cast some sort of spell when she was saying this, as not all of your tattoos are magical.
Okay. Let's see, do I have spellcraft? I really should have spellcraft.
I will hire you for 3 fights.
Damn it. He nods.
I will
be
pay-
wonderful.
I will pay your room and board for an entire season.
His eyes kind of widen to that. While money's not his primary objective, it is an issue for as much for him as it is for anyone.
And I will even give you a small percentage of the winnings. But you will have to submit to a new tattoo design.
What would the tattoo be?
I have an idea for you. It will involve death. But we'll have to see what takes and what does not.
Very well.
Okay, the halfling comes scurrying back. He's got a document in his hands. Make your mark here, then.
He reads it very quickly.
Okay. Yeah, you're supposed to fight 3 matches. It's
board.
three matches within the season. It does talk about that during the season, the gladiator fights are organized around a season. Winter, fall,
Yeah.
summer, spring. Not in that order. Jesus Christ. It's when you're thinking about something else and you're actually talking. So
he signs.
it does call the thing at the bottom, though, magical experiments. Foxfire, how's it going?
This is a little open-ended, don't you think?
She blinks. Stone-faced. You can give me a sense motive if you want.
Oh, I think I will. Let's double check my new skill. One of my new skill, but I'm pretty damn good at sense motive. Yeah.
DC's
30? Yeah, that's what I got. 30?
Oh, is that your roll or mine?
That's my roll.
Oh. 34.
Oh, damn you.
She seems to not care about your quibble.
Well, why don't we just write tattoos in brackets here? And then he signs it.
Okay, so you wrote on the contract the little scaredy cat halfling kind of like scrambled back when you started marking it up in a way that he wasn't expected, but then he nodded. He went over and he looked at what you did, and he just gives her a nod. She goes about preparing something. You get the sense from the amount of ink and things that are being brought into the room, some of them under covers, like in baskets that are covered. You notice that in one of the baskets there's something twitching.
Okay.
And there's the distinct smell of, give me perception check. Yes, perception can apply to smells, guys. Smells. I smell you.
My perception. Oh, so 12. 21.
Embalming fluid.
Okay.
What's happening? Okay, so Dread and Circus campaign we play when we don't have all the players here, so that we can have a stream. Mark is playing a mercenary gladiator that is in the city of Vaddapol, which is, we'll say, conceptually halfway between where Ugg and the other would-be slaves from Stygia are along the Road of Sorrow, and the Imperial City where the Masters were in episode 2 that we had, that were dealing with pretty much the demise of their stable. So
It's gonna be
Vaddapol,
bad.
Vaddapol is a small city. It is known for having a wonderful civic arena, and a few other things. But they have the Vaddapol Civic Arena. Effectively, this is the B League of the gladiatorial arenas. Happen in Vaddapol along the Road of Sorrow. Mark is not we didn't ask him to roll up just sort of a random low-level gladiator tonight. I wanted to give you guys a sort of a glimpse into what goes on between these gladiators. He's got a 4th level death priest inquisitor monk named Neidzer Creigh, who's covered in tattoos, and he's currently dealing with, or signed a contract with an elvish witch who is a tattoo artist who creates magical tattoos. Her name is Neidzer Creigh, and they're in her shop right now, along with a couple of other mercenary gladiators. These are people who fight in the arena or have fought in the arena before and are somewhat like free agents, would be the analog to a sports team.
We're on the indie circuit.
All right, so there's this little kind of creepy, clammy skinned, pale looking halfling that's scurrying about. He seems to be concerned about the contracts. Anytime that Neidzer makes a fast movement, Qued is like already out the door. Like, he is skittish, but also pretty curious. Right now, Neidzer has made his mark, including a fingerprint on the contract. Like, he wrote his hand, and you actually put your thumbprint in ink.
Okay, cool.
Neidzer Creigh just sort of hands the contract loosely off to Qued. Tell your master this one will be necromancy.
She was talking to me or him?
No, Qued.
Qued. All right.
I'll go and have a look at the others.
He scurries off. Apparently, I'm not going to make her voice. I keep on slipping into a more serious woman voice, so I will not make her voice grating.
Make her like Janice from Friends. Oh my God!
No,
You've got so many tattoos.
no, she's creepy. So she just basically she's preparing some sort of solution, and then goes, "I'm ready to start work on you now. There is no point in waiting."
As you wish.
The basket twitches a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Like there's something underneath the blanket in this large basket that took 2 people to bring in.
Do you require me to sit, stand, lie down?
I do not want you moving around during this. While I think that if anyone were to be able to handle what it is I'm about to do, it would be you. I cannot afford any mistakes. You will drink this, and when you awake, one hopes that the tattoo will have taken.
He nods to her.
Okay. She hands you this potion, this concoction.
Yeah, he's quietly hoping it's not poison. But
Well, it is a drug. You after drinking it down, it is bitter and milky and a bit chalky. It does not have a good aftertaste. She kind of like sticks her finger when you stop drinking it. She kind of sticks her finger underneath the bottle to force you to keep on drinking all of it.
Yeah.
You get it all. She does take the glass, the glass beaker that it was in, and kind of puts it off to the side. And
he's
and
expecting it's some kind of anesthetic, or so he's gonna find a place to sit before he falls.
Got it. She had you sitting over on a stone slab, kind of like one of the worker slabs where you could lay down on.
Yeah, he's just gonna lay down on it then.
You do notice that the slab does have manacles, like straps and that sort of thing. So she lies you down. One of her servants comes over and kind of sticks a pillow under her head. She eyes the servant as she was uncovering one of the one of the baskets. At this point, it kicks in. Oh, goodness, it feels like you're sinking into the pillowy, endless expanse of the stone slab you're on. It feels like you're sinking in. In fact, the stone slab is kind of going all around you as the kind of gross yellow ceiling stained with candle soot is swirling. You're focused in on an old cobweb, which then you start to see spiders in the cobweb. Like some massive spider turning purple and a face coming out of the spider, and then you kind of drift off into...
Oh my, this is going to be a bad trip.
You looked over as Vestra Iral was pulling back some of the heavy leathers off of one of the large baskets, and you saw... Although you don't know whether it was the knockout drug or actual reality, but there was a bloated purple foot that was still twitching inside the basket. The foot looked like it was not attached to anything, like maybe a knee and a thigh, but like she was lifting out an animate foot.
Okay.
And leg.
What the hell?
You come to several times during this magic item creation.
She brings out a vampire tooth or werewolf fang.
A little wind-up toy with the clacky things. It's just made out of vampire teeth.
Yes.
You come out of this a few times. You are kind of force-fed some gruel and forced water, but then also given this other stuff, like more of this medicine to knock you out.
Okay.
Give me a fort save versus poison.
You're lucky I'm not 12th level. 6. 14.
Okay, this next sort of phase, you didn't quite stay awake enough, but you did notice that there were weird stitchings along your chest when you woke up. Like they've finally stitched... You don't know what stitching should be done with tattooing, but there might be actual... You're like, what is this? And then, you manage to pass out. Oh, and the smell of the embalming fluid is all around you. Like it's on you. Again, you go into some sort of dark place that doesn't really have you dreaming, sort of a listless sleep. You know that somewhere down there, past the stones and the sewers and the deep earth and the worms and the endless death that happened before Vaddapol was created, that your god Nerol is there. You're muted, Mark.
I'm waking up in a bathtub full of ice, aren't I?
Yeah, and they wake you up again. You're still on the stone slab. They're feeding you again. Like maybe this is taking days.
Yeah, it must be. It must.
Give me another saving throw. This is for the next day.
All right. 26, natural 20.
All right, so you managed to stay awake a little bit. Like not to the point where you're able to wander around, but you're just conscious enough to overhear a bit of a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
As a very strange man. You thought at first it was the drugs, but then you realize that it was just the way that he talks, which is really, really strange.
Okay.
And let me put his token down. And how is the patient, Vestra Erol? I am very curious as to how my money is being spent. Oh, Master Krakenstein, I was not expecting you. Why do you not think that I was to be expected? I thought you were smarter than that. Do you know how much money I have poured into you? How many spells that I have taught your familiars?
No way!
Don't you think that I would not oversee my investments? Of course, Master Krakenstein. This is Neidzer Creigh. I do not care what the name of this patient is. Only that it is possible to stick these undead things into his flesh. Do not bore me with details that do not matter. Yes, we have managed to put nearly 2/3 of the expected number of undead creatures into his flesh. Much like a robe of bones, his
No, he says that like, what?
I would have expected you to keep him under for such an experiment. And this man's got like a black glove on, kind of a silky glove, but he grabs a hold of your face and it feels like a vice. You don't know if it's his strength or the drugs. You are strapped down to the table, like you must have moved around a little bit that they've strapped you down. He sort of looks at you. An ugly creature he is. We did not pick him for his comeliness, Master Krakenstein. We picked him for his predilection towards death. They say that he underwent some grueling tasks to become a priest of Nerol. Nerol, death god, yes, I am familiar with these colloquial superstitions. All right, get the rest of them in here. Let me know how he performs. I am interested in bringing these studies to their next logical conclusion. Yes, Master Krakenstein. It will be another day. Another day. It is too bad that I could not find someone who could work quicker. I suppose it will do. What of the other ones? I will work on them after I finish with Neidzer. Do you not have an apprentice? None that can perform these procedures. We will have to work on that. I think I know who might be sufficient. Proceed. I expect daily reports. My little worm Qued will give them. Yes, of course, Master Krakenstein. Always a pleasure to work with you. We shall see if it is pleasurable. And do not presume to know what pleasures me. The guy glides out of the room. A palpable, relieving of pressure leaves. Like his mere presence caused the most stony-faced elf to turn into a groveling hedge wizard.
Yeah.
Yes. How did you... We'll have to give you more. She says as she as she sticks this funnel-like device into your mouth and pours double the dose of the poison of the drug inside of you. The next time you awake, there is no Vogel Krakenstein. You're basically drooling in a chair. There is a strap that's around you, less to keep you like stuck there and more to make sure you don't fall over.
Okay.
You have a dark robe on. Actually, it would be a light robe. Yeah, it would be a white robe.
Okay.
You can see some speckles of like pink and brown and red dots along the front of the robe.
Okay. Hello? Hello? Oh.
Peeking into the room is this little weird halfling. You think you overheard his name is Qued?
Yes. Is the moody finished?
He's just peeking at you.
I can see you, Qued.
He's just looking at you like he's half fascinated, half terrified.
He tries to pull the whatever strap is holding him down.
Yeah, you start undoing the strap. Oh yeah, Qued's out of there. He doesn't want to be he doesn't want to be near you. Yeah, you're in one of the back rooms. There's a hookah here that isn't lit. It's kind of like there's some like divan like couches in a circle.
Is he in? How can I put this? Is he in a lot of like pain or?
There's some tightness. You haven't looked at it yet. You can see like little speckles of brown, red, and pink as like the wounds have bled a little bit.
Yeah.
And like stuck to the clean white
Okay.
robe that you're wearing.
He like looks inside the robe. Can he tell what time of day it is?
No, you're in the bowels of the tattoo artist's den.
Right.
You can't tell from in here what time of day it is. Although there's no fire lit in the fireplace. You manage to pull the things. It pinches a little bit as you're kind of like pulling at some scabs. And you look down. Yeah, you've got some really weird moving tattoos on your body slot.
Moving tattoos.
They look like bony hands of things, like really small though, that are kind of like pushing through your skin and then kind of coming back like into your body, and then another spot there's like another size claw pushing, and at one point it looked like something like with like dog-headed with like teeth, kind of side view, tried to push its way through. Like you've got this moving bones
Okay.
on your chest.
Oh. Okay, he drops to his knees.
Okay. At this point, yeah, you've got vertigo, and you're kind of like puking up whatever pablum that they've been feeding you, along with an empty stomach.
Yeah.
Like the bile and leftover of the drugs in your system. You're puking up all over the place.
Okay, he casts Cure Light Wounds on himself.
Okay. The things in your chest kind of react like they were in pain when you did that.
Okay. But do I feel better?
Yeah, you feel better.
Okay, that's...
He cast a spell, mistress.
What are you doing?
recovering from what you've done. What have you done? What is inside me?
It is still under your skin. It is not deep enough. I suppose technically it is inside you. It took me many hours, but I managed to fit every one. The same number of creatures that are in a robe of bones are now in your skin.
You have gifted. Do I know what a robe of bones is?
Give me a knowledge arcana.
I think I have that. Yes, I do. I'm not particularly good at it, though.
She looks like she's under stress.
T plus. Come on. 23.
Yeah, a robe of bones has figures on it where when you take them and throw them down, they turn into undead. Basically, there are undead things inside the robe, and it's kind of used as a way to instantly summon undead creatures. 23, you know that the person who has the robe of bones doesn't have any, like, it doesn't confer any control over the undead. It just creates them.
Okay.
In fact, it doesn't create them. It's like they were already created and then they were stored inside you. That part you're not too sure about, but it does definitely feel like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. About a dozen things that are moving around in your chest. Not all of them look human.
Okay.
Like, one of the things feels like the bottom of a horse hoof trying to come out of your chest a little bit and then being pulled away.
You have granted me a great gift, and he bows to her.
Know that there are only 2 of each kind inside you. 2 men. 2 wolves. 2 knights' horses. 2 goblin. 2 rotted men. And I don't know how I did it, but I managed to fit 2 ogres.
Really?
And she points at each of these things. There is still tattoos. Like, you could actually see that she used this bone color tattoo kind of ink. Mm-hmm. It sort of blends in a little bit, and then the stuff pushing around is... She does show you where the tattoos are. And functions like a thing. You simply need to pinch at this area. You will find a small bone nugget just beneath your skin. Pull it out, and the creature will be let loose. You're a death priest, right? Do you know how to command the obedience of undeath?
He looks ashamed a little bit. I do not.
Then stay out of their way. I'm sure you'll find a use for them in the arena. In fact, it will be necessary for you to use them. One of my backers has gone to great expense to allow me this experiment.
He's going to keep his mouth shut that he knows who it is, or the guy's name.
Okay. Yeah, you master Krakenstein and you use creepy as hell.
Yeah. He's coming from Skeleton Boy.
Coming from Skrellingtons.
Yeah. When will we be fighting? I'm assuming the others are undergoing similar experimentation.
Yes, they will take some time. Whenever you're ready, know that you have 3 fights this season, and I'm not talking about beating up criminals. If you do go that route, it will be many to 1. I'll be kind. I'll be kind and allow you to choose your first fight. But I will be the decider of whether or not it meets our contract obligations. Work with Qued. He will manage the paperwork as well as the bidding. He apparently is good with numbers.
Very well.
Do not lose.
I never lose. Well, I never intend to lose. I'm sure he's lost. Just
Mind you, I think Qued said something about a lot of criminals have made their way into the dungeons of the Commissar. You may want to go to his office. He may have use of a death priest. She smiles and she's looking down at her work.
I will go to the commissar's office. He kind of looks around today, tomorrow, whenever the sun is up.
She doesn't seem to care. She seems to now go over and you can hear horrible frogs screaming from the room where Brog is being operated upon. Qued comes kind of back into the room. He's looking.
You're gonna let me know what you're gonna do? Yes? You're gonna let me know
Yes,
what kind of
I
fight?
will return when I have a fight scheduled.
Yes, maybe I should come with you. I need to know which fights you're going to be in, and I need to make arrangements. I'm supposed to make arrangements, yes.
If you wish, I am going to...
Oh,
He doesn't look like he wishes.
What time of day is it? I kind of steps out to try to find the sun or the...
6. It is Vespers. Vespers, yes.
Is that morning or night?
Dusk.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Mod is full of all these arcane terms like widdershins and vespers. you and your fancy fandangle words.
I will kick your ass for a fortnight, Kahan.
Fortnite. I actually use Fortnite in a status report at work because it's like, is bi-weekly every 2 weeks or twice a week? And you go onto the internet, it's like, well, it could be both. I'm like, I'm not sending out this report twice a week. I want to send it out. I'm like, blah, 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 fortnightly report. I'm pretty sure I'll get some comments about that one. All right. What a nerd. Nerd.
In the morrow, I will head to the commissar's office.
Where do you stay?
I stay at the house. Oh, is it temple or house? Hang on.
Yeah, let's go to the map. And
Go to the map.
jam some things down. So Vaddapol.
Brotherhood of Dissolution. Would it be the House of Dissolution? Temple of Dissolution?
Yeah, like Monastery of Dissolution?
Monastery? I'm not sure.
Or the School of Dissolution, maybe?
That one sounds weird to me for some reason.
Monastery. Alright.
Or just the Black House.
AKA the Black House.
Yeah. He doesn't call it that, but there's people might.
Alright, it is basically where you train. There is barracks for the really young guys, but you've gone beyond that. You're allowed to have your own home
Place.
somewhere. Right. You probably aren't very rich, so pick something appropriate. The Baydocks and the Fingers have, like, it's where the squalor is.
I will attend the Black House for morning prayers.
Okay.
And then...
Where's Dude Pants' home? And Neidzer Creigh?
Oh, he won't be far from the Black House. Like, as close as possible.
All right, so this big building, we'll say, is a flop house that you live in. There are lots of people that live there, including some of your brethren who've taken over a floor.
All right. Ironically, we don't put up with crime in our neighborhood, though.
No, a bunch of monks, a bunch of lawful monks.
Like, no, you don't pick pockets there. They will murder you.
All right, and then where shall we place the tattoo artist's shop? She's probably close to the Vaddapol Civic Arena.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. How about this little spot here?
That one right there? Okay.
Yeah, just a little out of the way.
Let me just find her name. It was... She's called the Skin Painter. So, Skin Painter's shop. Okay, Qued, you go to do your morning prayers at the Black House. You see Qued is out there waiting for you, hiding across the street, creeping.
This is a safe neighborhood, Qued.
He shakes his head like he doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to.
If you wish to walk beside me, do so. If you wish to follow in the shadows, so be it. I'm heading to the commissar's office.
He nods. We need a tower where prisoners are kept. I'm gonna say it is this big block that overlooks the Bay Docks. This is going to be the jail, and let's spell it the way, like the old-timey way of spelling jail. It's like Gale.
Okay.
Gaol. So the Vaddapol Gaol. He has an office in the Civic Arena. He also is the main jailer of the town. Where are you going?
He'll head to the jail itself.
Okay.
Just kind of wants to see exactly how full it is.
Okay. You and Qued do go there. There are some guards. These are Vaddapol guards. These are not Imperium guards. And Qued actually has some documentation and maybe some way of navigating this bureaucracy, and you soon find yourself in the office near the top of the tower. He's got a window that overlooks the Bay Docks as well as the bay. Kind of, you could see the sea tower, as well as a window on the other side of his office. He's got like a whole floor to himself that overlooks the city, and you can actually see the Civic Arena in all of its glory from here.
Cool.
So you are meeting with the commissar, who is basically part marshal, part chief of police, part head of the prison.
Okay.
And let's get his token out there. Dread and Circus. And there's the commissar. And there's a man also in there as well. Do you have knowledge local?
No.
Okay.
Just kind of sticks with his brotherhood mostly.
He seems to have a meeting in ahead of you. Is there any other news, Commissar, that you wish me to proclaim on your behalf to the citizens of... And you notice that the Commissar is sort of sitting at his desk, probably nursing a hangover by the way that he's rubbing his temples. This man who is subservient to him seems rather loud. and he is bedecked in the regalia of the five-faced god. He's carrying some scrolls and what looks like this big pendant of the five-faced god. Like he's got at the end of this big pole, like a pendant of the five-faced god and a seal of the Imperium. No, there's nothing else that I wish to proclaim. Are you sure that you do not wish me to proclaim anything on this day? What am I missing, Vostok? Well, there are a number of imperial holidays that you could perhaps help us spread to this seething cesspool that is Vaddapol. Seething cesspool? I mean no disrespect, but there are many in your dungeons, Commissar, that are heretics. Yes, and we're dealing with them the way we deal with all the heretics, or whomever you say is a heretic, Vostok. Might I remind you, it is neither your place nor station to talk to me this way. No, but I did pose the question in the form of, well, my own duties as the town crier. Yes, Vostok. Go ahead and talk about one of your favorite holidays that are today. Let it be known that it isn't a holiday here in the town, but you can talk about it nonetheless. I will do so. It will inspire the people that the great Imperium will reward them for their good works. Once they start doing good works in the name of the five gods and the faces that they represent, and the faces of the five gods and the one god that they are part of. Dmitri rolls his eyes at this, and the town crier, who also you recognize is a zealot,
Takes one to know one.
stops at the door as he kind of confronts you two waiting in like an antechamber at kind of the top of the stairs. He doesn't know what to make of you.
Neidzer Creigh is kind of looking at him through the top of his eyes.
I swear, infidels everywhere! That's what he says as he plunges down the stairs with a furious flap of his banner to the Imperium. They will get what's coming to them, all of them, all of them. I need to stop having such early morning meetings with him. You can hear some liquid being poured. Mm-hmm. The door is still ajar.
Yeah. He sits back down.
Qued is not looking into the room.
Just perpetually sneaking. Qued the Creeper. That's his name. He sits there and waits patiently to be summoned.
Okay, the guy's moving around. If you see them shuffling of papers, he's drinking something. He's sat down back at his chair. You can hear it creaking.
Okay, is there like a chair to wait out here or something?
Yeah, there are some chairs out there.
Okay, he'll make a little bit of noise by scraping the chair or something,
okay.
Pushing it back.
Is there somebody there?
He rises and knocks at the doorway.
Oh yes. 9 o'clock. Do come in, Chamberlain Qued.
Oh, yes, thank you. These scrolls and missives are from my master, and you will see that all things are in order here.
Yes, his property is ready. Whenever your master wishes to move in, he can. Oh, it's not actually for my master. He has many properties throughout the Empire. Yes, he's very important and very rich, I understand. The payments have come through. I appreciate that, very much so. He is free to, Well, contribute to society however he wants. Oh, yes. There is another matter that I wish to speak to you about. He noticed that he's, like, up to the desk and he's actually kind of creeping. Somehow he's managed to creep